What's happening, people? Welcome back. What is the state of humanity for 2022? What do we have in store for us for this year coming? What type of obstacles, threats, and opportunities are we dealing with? Are we contending with individually and collectively as individuals and as a species as a whole and a continuum of humanity for the human beings yet to come to be born into existence, right? What are we facing? Well, we're facing a dissolving world. The systems, the institutions, the cultural and social norms that make up the world are dissolving quite literally day by day. More and more each day, they're becoming less tangible, less real, less powerful, and less impactful. And that is a danger to us because this is the shelter, the construct, the house, the framework that keeps us all civil and sane and somewhat human in a sense. It's dissolving because the cells and the blood of the world, human beings, that composes the body of the world, us, we're losing faith in these systems and institutions, in these cultural and social norms, and we're ceasing to inject our energy, our lives to power them. We're ceasing to power the world, ceasing to inject our energy and lifeblood, time and mind into this world to keep it sustained, to keep it a going concern. And many more people are seeing this as an opportunity to quit a world they never believed in without great social backlash. So, without some objective, widely shareable, agreeable goal, something that unites us, some common cause that puts us all in a pseudo reality together, again, a similar and shareable reality, we're likely to be facing a civilizational collapse or demise within the next 15 to 30 years. If you no longer maintain a home, the home will collapse and be taken over by nature. This is the same situation that we find ourselves in this world. If we no longer maintain the world, we will no longer have a world to live in and to house and shelter us as individuals, as communities, as people. We will be in the wild again or in some other anarchistic nightmare. So that's one of the most primary and important, impactful concerns for us individually and collectively currently. Because we aren't masters of our minds and bodies like we'd like to believe we are, the world isn't dying of natural causes. It isn't dying of old age. It's being killed. It is a manufactured death. It's a controlled demolition type scenario. Groups, individuals, institutions, collectives are poking and prodding the world for susceptibilities and vulnerabilities, looking for weak points that they can push on so that they can bring the world down in a controlled fashion that protects them and their concern, them and their interests, while unfortunately, maybe to no concern of those people, allowing all the rest of the debris, the bricks, the beams of steel to fall on everyone else's head. I believe this is the situation we're in, and I believe this is something that everyone should be aware of. Whether people are aware of the world directly, consciously, or subconsciously and intuitively, it would seem that growing numbers of people are willing to walk directly into the matrix, almost demanding that it be built sooner because they've given up on this reality, this world, and there's nothing left for them in this time and space. Therefore, they'd like to go to a new one where there's something more interesting to do, or at least something to be had with less energy, less risk, less cost, and less burden to them. And I believe this will grow. This sentiment, this mentality will grow as more and more people are aware of the dissolution of the world. Mental health is failing and will continue to do so increasingly because the bulk of a non realized person's mind is occupied by the concept of them, the constructed narrative self, who they think they are based on culture, political affiliations, religious beliefs, social and economic norms. Well, these things are being obliterated, assaulted, destroyed, and that gives a person nothing to root themselves in terms of who they are and how to relate to the world and other people in it. And that means that they will be nihilistic, they will be anxious, uneasy, and they will suffer. And anyone willing and able to offer an acceptable identity to supplant and replace the one lost is likely going to be seen as someone attractive, someone worth listening to. But the people that are offering these things, because there is no true identity, nothing you should identify with, in my opinion, the people offering these things currently are going to be the ones offering the most base and primitive conceptions, divisions, distinctions called race, called gender, called ethnicity. These things will be used to divide and splinter humanity until we have clean, divisible groups. And then we're screwed because once we cleanly see ourselves as distinct from other people in some fundamental and true way, we can view them as less than. It's unlikely that we will view ourselves or build a narrative that puts us below other people. So everyone will see everyone else as somehow inferior or lacking. And we will be back in this situation where we have no common agreement, no common shareable reality, and then we can attack one another without the buffer called human decency, the thing that sees us treat other people with some concern for their experience because we see ourselves as roughly the same. Society is now more treacherous than ever because even people that share the same skin color, the same hair color, the same shape of nose and lips and eyes, have the same shirt on and drive the same car, cannot be confident that they share the same beliefs or even share the same reality. So, what we're facing as a result of this infinite splintering and division is the fact that you can no longer be honest and truthful in a socially acceptable manner because you don't know whether you speaking something that just seems to be factual and apparently real to you is not offensive to someone else. So people tuck in their reality and we all share some polite, pseudo, washed out reality called whatever the heck this is. One where no one knows what someone is going to be offended by, where no one knows what someone is going to be upset by, or what there will be judged and ridiculed and really punished about. So it's a treacherous world to move through because you can believe you're absolutely right and be trying to be right and offend a great number of people. And that doesn't make social movement, social connection, world building very easy. It makes it almost impossible to build a world, to maintain a world where two people believe they're absolutely right in trying their best not to offend, but are doing nothing but that. The culture of money has now almost completely supplanted all other cultures on earth. And if you are a person that wants to shape and guide people's youth, push people in the better direction, or inform people of a wayward direction, you better have a lot of cultural standing, which means you better have a lot of money or you will not be heard because that's the only thing that gives someone value today. Not what they do, not what they know, not how they act, not who they are, but how much money they have. That's all the youth value, and we've taught them how to do that. That is our fault. That's all adults value anymore. And that means we now live in a world where the shaman, the priest, the teacher, the guru, the yogi, the philosopher, the activist, all of these people have no voice unless they have a lot of money. And most of the people with a lot of money don't really have a refined and intelligible ideology, just get more money. So we now live in a world that is programmed, primed to push people toward achieving one singular goal and aim, and that's get money by all means and all costs and as much of it as you can. And when the culture is directed and shaped in this fashion, we find ourselves now living in a world where everything is permissible as long as it results in dollars. And that means that people can do anything and they will get a stamp and a check of approval culturally and be accepted in communities, in society, as long as what they did brought them cultural value, profit, dollars. It doesn't matter whether they've hurt others, whether they've broken the law, whether they've just been completely shitty. It doesn't matter as long as they've won in cultural terms. And it's an arbitrary goal. It has no principle, has no value. It does not lead toward any betterment in any conceivable way. It's just an arbitrary goal to accumulate and acquire and collect and amass an arbitrary quantity of an arbitrary currency. Because the world is desolidified, it is liquidized. The main benefit, despite all of the obstacles and downsides and pain points and threats, is freedom of movement, degrees of freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of information, freedom of action. You can do more without being basically ostracized and exiled. You can say more without being ostracized and exiled. You can have more and see more and know more than you could ever do at any point in human history. If there's something that you wanted to do, if there's something you wanted to build, make, see, know, realize, now is the time like no other, and it may not last very long. When we're looking at what we're seeing, when we're looking at 2022 is a year of great opportunity, a door closing, but one that is not shut and definitely not locked. So now is the time, no matter, in my opinion, what age you are or where you are in your development, you should try something. You should try to do something, make something better, improve something, heal something, build something, or destroy something that you believe is in the way. Now is the time. It may not continue. So what we must do is recognize the opportunity at hand. Yeah, there are a lot of threats, a lot of risks, but the opportunity is equivalent, if not somewhat outpacing the threats and risks. You don't get opportunity without some risk. So we must accept the dangers and contend with them so that we may be able to utilize and make use of this great freedom that we have currently. Now, I wouldn't just leave things like that. I wouldn't just simply say the world is bad and you need to move, you need to do something. Because what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to move? Well, you can borrow an adage from Warren Buffett. When people are fearful, be aggressive. When people are aggressive and greedy, be fearful and cautious. That's a general characterization of its sentiment, but the same is true here. And I'm just talking about human nature. So, one great way to know where to go, how to move, and what to do is to look at the collective, to look at the herd, and to go the other way, to look at the tide and to go against it. Not necessarily, but to consider it, to investigate, and that will give you some way to know which direction you should be heading. Almost always, you might want to go against the herd, but you don't want to do it blindly. Sometimes the collective is right. Sometimes the group is intelligent and can see more than the individual. But for the most part, in this world, people are being manipulated. They're being controlled or cajoled and prodded and probed to move in a certain direction beneficial for some other group that isn't going that direction. So you want to look at what people are doing. Well, what are they doing? Is that right for me? Does this make sense? Is this helpful? Is this useful? Is it true? Investigate, but definitely be aware whenever you see large numbers of people doing something or moving into some new direction, new territory, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be real estate, whether it be options trading, what have you, whether it be the metaverse. Look into it and be likely on the other direction, headed the other way, on the other side, headed the other way, but investigate first. And that's how you play this world, in my opinion. You see where large numbers of people are moving, that gives you some data point. It ignites and excites your detection meter, and you know there's something to be wary of, be knowledgeable about. And then you take a look at it, and then you see where you should be going based on your own understanding, your own knowledge, your own experience, and your own needs and wants. And that's how you play this world, and that's how we make it through 2022 and hopefully into 2023 in a better condition and a better state as a species. But we're in a precarious situation. And I've said this for the past 2 years, and I've never believed that to be more true than I do now. I'm about as detached as a person can be. So with this detachment, I believe I'm able to see these herd shifts, these large shuffles and reconsolidations of energy and interest and attention a little bit more clearly than people that are a little bit more caught up in society and culture and economics and politics and religion and what have you. My identity, my narrative, myself, my value is not based in any of these things. Therefore, I'm a little bit removed, quite removed, actually, and I can see them more clearly. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're in a dangerous situation as a whole, as a species. You may believe yourself to be comfortable and secure individually, but you are not. This is a world, and its maintenance is dependent upon the collective. No one person is anything really on their own. And you can be rolled over and steamed over no matter how secure and how prepared you believe yourself to be. So I think it's important that we see this as a group effort, as something that isn't the responsibility of elected officials or other activists or people willing to put themselves on the line. I think it's something everyone must do in some small way, even if it isn't publicly or on the front. It's like recycling, but actual true maintenance of the world, or actual true building of a better world. That's what I believe. The State of Humanity 2022. Lex Benjamin. Hope you're ready for some truth. Hope you're ready for some perspective and some insight and some advice, because I have a lot to give. So thank you for watching this one. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will see you tomorrow in the next video. You have a great day. Take care. Later.